a fan of the pictograms for the crisis, and this one is by the Swiss people. It looks like this. And this pictogram is actually in the regional trains in Zurich. And it means like people with no money are not allowed here. And because there are lots of funny pictures of potential not having money anymore people. There's a gallery of people who won't have any money anymore.
This one has flipped between. This is a little bit older. 1925.
Sometimes you don't even want to look at it.
Watch the courses in the background.
Ferry crisis. There's one image that it's one image that symbolizes the whole crisis, and for this one, of course, it's the one that is shown right now.
Yeah, we.
Maybe you should set up some funny awards for this year. We're starting with the Lame Excuse Award, and we thought of who. And so Richard Nixon is the person behind our lame excuse. And for those who don't know the story, it's the Watergate scandal. And he said, well, and probably my secretary pushed the record button, so yeah. So that's why he's the patron for our lame excuse award.
There have been many candidates.
Well, the first candidate was the thing with the bailout. Well, it started with, yeah, it won't be that much. Yeah, we just. Well, the question is, how do you end up with the actual number that we need? Well, yeah, we take our thumb and we'll just name a large number here. Maybe it's just like 700 billion. Sounds like a lot of money, and we just might want to need that.
You don't have to say any more to this. And as ever, if someone pulls out some really big number out of his ass, this won't last long. And so this year, this message was.
Oh, something from the LBB?
Messenger from a German bank.
Here on the stage.
LBB.
We're getting a package
LBB is a
at the
bank
moment.
in Berlin. Actually, the bank of the country.
Now we're very excited about what is in the package. Yeah,
okay, a local cake that is made on Christmas, stolen.
Oh, and data. Oh, it's a backup.
How does this get to us?
Ah, it looks like it's a data cake.
During
Okay, nobody really looked, and it got more and more and more. And about a month later, they calculated it all together, and it was like 8.5 mil. What? I don't care. That's like the money they got out for bailout.
And of course, our especially nice. The Moody's rating agency was very nice. Well, they say that the rating it's the rating agency's fault, and they were saying it's AAA, and then they are really going to give them back the money. So the really important funds can buy that as well. And people were pointing their finger at the rating agencies as well. And if they didn't say it was okay, we wouldn't have invested in it. And Moody's had the excuse that it was a software error. Yeah, great. Really great. And that was the excuse. Yeah. Somebody was hungry in the end. Luckily we don't have a knife here. Our data cake. Really, really nice. Yeah. And the data cake is the winner of the Richard M. Nixon Lame Excuse Award. Because even we wouldn't have the idea if we were asked to think about it.
Okay, and now that we are discussing economic messages, China announced that they want to see all the source code from import devices. And they not only refer to dishwashers, they also mean software and everything that contains software. And as an example, we have the Transrapid here, the magnetic suspension train. And this is not only about import for resale, but also parts that you import and then reassemble in China. So it basically affects everything.
So China is apparently the new open source head of the open source movement.
Okay, now talk about scientific messages. The NSA did something interesting.
Yeah, you all know the nice movie Sneakers, of course. There's this No More Secrets, and the NSA was looking for quantum computers, and they said,
so basically they wrote out a position, opened one up, how to program an existing quantum computer. And as part of this thing, just assume that there is a computer, and what would you do with it if there was one? And if the NSA says that?
well, of course we don't have an image of a quantum computer, so we have an image that looks similar. Well, you know, the packages of the food, they always say serving suggestion. Next award we have is the Franz Josef Joyce Bailout Award.
And here we have to go back in time a bit. Okay, for me, with the Bavarian Bank. So, when the German Democratic Republic was almost bankrupt, Strauss used 1.5 million German marks as a credit, and the German Democratic Republic could keep itself over water for 3 more years.
That's why it's the Franz Josef Strauss Bailout Award.
The funny story about that is that the bailout only really was valid for banks. But hey, once you have that much money, then a lot of people want something from it. And here's a few of those. American Express, they usually make credit cards, and in this case they just changed to be a bank holding, so they could participate from the bank holding. GM, they have like a daughter company that does consumer credits for people who want to buy a car. And well, with this we qualify for the bailout, don't we? And Volkswagen was the German bailout.
So Favor was the we can copy that very nicely. So yeah, so the VW bailout should be sponsored by Porsche, of course. That would be really earned.
And the heaviest one was Aegon, that is a insurance company from the Netherlands.
And it's the winner of the award as well.
And they basically just bought a bank in America to get to the bailout. That was worth a prize.
So we've got 2 more awards here.
2 more, okay. We have
the Inspector Clouseau Award
for interesting police work. exclusive, perfect police work.
Well, we start with the Operation Heaven, which is a child pornography case in Germany. They had 12,000 people who were suspected, lots of hard disks. And in the end, the prosecutors were very unnerved that most of the people were actually got there by
Accidentally.
chance and then went away because they were
So the
thought it was
prosecutors
very
in
active.
Cologne, they just stopped the investigation, and Berlin hasn't opened a single one. And during a press statement, they said, well, they checked their people's equipment, and with some of them, they did find child pornographic material, but they were not able to name a number. So some may indicate 3. We don't know.
Yeah. Next thing was the Castor transport.
Also die bemerkte darauf die Gesichtsausdruck der Polizisten ist einfach. Also man sollte dazu sagen, die Clowns Army hat irgendwie sehr.
Yeah, so the Clowns Army was a very interesting part of the protest culture, so that's really
Yeah,
worth
check
an
out the
applause.
Check out the expression on the policemen's faces.
Also sehr schön war auch bei einem
So very nice was too that with a demonstration in Berlin. I was standing next to a policeman and was listening to his radio, and they were actually talking about the location of the clowns, very detailed. So clown was very, very bad. The interesting thing about the Castor thing is that's why they're in the awards is the press release there.
12 policemen were injured by stone and bottle throwings, and a lot more have been damaged or injured without external cause. I think the number for external cause was bigger than the other one, right?
so die Meldung, wo man sich wünscht, dass der Reporter nochmal nachfragt.
Okay, that's when you would wish for the reporter to ask once again, are these numbers correct?
Ja, großartige Polizeiarbeit gab es auch. Vielleicht war die Erbsensuppe zu heiß.
Yeah, maybe the soup was too hot or so.
Die haben ja auch schwere Rüstungen dabei.
Yeah, they have really heavy armor, and it hurts. Also in other countries there has been interesting police work.
Yeah, exactly. In Greece, the police they were running out of tear gas with the riots there.
This picture doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, at this point there was still tear gas missing, available. Yeah.
Okay, the man in the background is using a laser pointer to indicate who the policeman is, so the stone thrower can target better. Okay, somebody in the audience used the laser pointer to shoot something at the projection, so you couldn't have seen it.
Denen ist tatsächlich das Dringend ausgegangen.
So they really ran out of tear gas there,
Dann haben sie angefangen,
and then they started to import countries of tear gas. So from those countries, we really get it. Of course, Germany and Israel.
Germany and Israel.
der etwas weniger lustige Teil ist,
Well, the less funny part there is they were working with tear gas from the 80s, and there were a couple of people in the hospital because nobody knows what happened to that tear gas in the last 30 years.
Yeah, the army doesn't really care about the specs of the tear gas.
bis die Lieferungen da waren, haben die dann Steine
And as soon as the delivery came in, they threw stones.
And then in the end, the stones were empty as well. And that was a very bizarre report that people from regions where there were still stones.
So the economy works.
They were selling the stones to the police. And here's the visualization about that, because we couldn't find any photo about it.
und noch die Tüte Kieselsteine dazu.
Yeah, and the packet of small stones as well, please. So, another hot candidate for the award is our new Bundessicherheitshauptmann. Well, it's like the surveillance central. So it's a little bit euphemistic than normally.